I faced a lot of ethical challenges as a teacher. I used to work as a middle school ELA teacher in a charter school. And a lot of these challenges revolved around the school's pretty strict culture of discipline. And at the time I was teaching there, I had a lot of real questions about the wisdom of our discipline policies because students were getting sent out of the classroom pretty frequently to the dean's office without a lot of change really happening in behaviors. And that was tough. But I also recognized that these policies helped to create structure so that learning could really happen in the classroom. And so it was a bit of a tough decision there. And one of the challenges I remember experiencing with all of this had to do with learning to navigate all of these policies and figuring out like how to be a team player, how to ensure that rules were enforced fairly, but also making sure that we met the particular needs of students and families, which could really be a dilemma sometimes. And one particular dilemma was about a student who I had who was getting sent to the dean's office almost every single day. And when a student was sent to the dean, we had to call home that night and we had to follow a particular script for talking with families, and then fill out a Google form after the call, letting admin know that we had made the call and we'd followed the script and checked all the boxes. And so for this particular student, I knew that his mom was sick and tired of getting these calls from us and wasn't feeling particularly well supported by these rules. And I was really sympathetic to that. But I also remember feeling kind of like my hands are tied and I need to do this. And one day I sent my student to the dean. I remember getting home from work after a really long commute and knowing that I needed to call his mom and just really feeling not good about it, and was torn about what to do. I didn't know if I should call her, follow the script, check all the boxes, cover my bases with school admin, or if I should wait, or if I should do something totally different. And I was worried that this call wouldn't be great for my relationship with the parent. And that's really important when you're teaching. I had this student for the full year and I needed to build that relationship. But I ended up calling her and reading through this script, and it went terribly. It turned out it was her day off and she was really upset. And I remember her saying, like, I just can't get a break with this, can I? And I felt so bad. I still feel really bad about it. And I think looking back, I think if I had either had more experience or even more just like an opportunity to pause and reflect on the different values that I was trying to realize in this moment. So like I cared about building relationships with my students and their families and like making sure that families knew what was going on with their students every day. I cared about being a team member with my grade team and making sure we were all on the same page with them. And then I cared about creating this consistent school culture with kids. And like all of this, if I had been able to juggle all that, I might have been able to see other options that I had in the moment. Like I think I could have checked with my co-teacher. I could have checked with the guidance counselor that was close with the student, to think through what my options could be and how could I approach the situation in a way that built the relationships. I could have like listened to my gut and had a little bit more self-confidence about that and use it as an opportunity to open a larger conversation with my administrators because they were actually pretty open-minded. And we probably could have had a conversation about how this policy was working or not to support students. But I just don't think I had the experience at that point in my career to do these things. And maybe some knowing that these lines of communication were more open, I think could have helped in retrospect. But I just think that there is a real tension for teachers between the rules and the policies that create this needed structure in a school building. Like it's really good that we had a policy for communicating with parents, right? That's a good thing. But we also needed to be responsive to students and families. And so it's hard when you're working with so many kids at once. It's not always possible to exercise that kind of discretion all the time and can be exhausting. But I think that educational ethics at its best could really help us think that through better.